we move on to react to Arsenal finishing a scoreless draw with Atalanta, 0-0 stalemate. Um, you know, in a game with very little moments, very overall boring game to watch. Um, the one moment from the game is the David Raya incredible double save that we'll get to later. That saved Arsenal in this game. But yeah, this game was so boring and such a snooze fest. Um, Before we get into that, though, I do have to say a little bit surprised with Mikel Arteta in the lineup that he came out with in this game. We know Arsenal have an away game to Manchester City on Sunday with an extra, with only 2 days to prepare to rest these players for that game against City, and Manchester City have an extra day because they played yesterday. On top of that, Arsenal had to go away intercontinentally, travel away to Atalanta, to Bergamo, Italy, come back to London, and then they have to go up to Manchester to play another away game with with a day less of rest. Would Manchester City get an extra day of rest, and they got to face off at Inter Milan at home, didn't have to worry about traveling away, traveling to another country, traveling to, another country across the continent. And then on top of that, they get an extra day's rest. And on top of that as well, they're playing the game on Sunday at home. They don't have to worry about going down to London or anything like that. And they have their home field advantage. For me, Arsenal find themselves, that's a double advantage for Manchester City. And I thought, Mikel Arteta, knowing, the importance of the City game, you can't win the Premier League, but you can almost lose it on Sunday if you go down 5 points this early. You're already almost in panic mode. It was really interesting to me that he went with the full-fledged, starting 11, because I have to be honest, this is probably the starting 11 I expect on Sunday. Maybe he'd revert to what we saw, what they did against Tottenham, but more or less, if anything, there's gonna be a difference. Is Jesus is gonna come out? They're gonna, bring in Trossard and play that similar, 11 that they played against Tottenham. But apart from that, he even had Jurriën Timber, who we know the injury issues that he's had, the injury concerns. I thought he definitely would have at least got a rest, but that is not the case actually. So, look, it's a little bit of a gamble because 2 days rest going up to Manchester is a difficult task to say the least, playing against Manchester City. But he was, he valued this game. He realized the importance of this game. Diego Simeone, after they had that late win at Atletico Madrid, he came out with how important this, the first game of this new format is or whatever. So maybe he doesn't want to overlook this game. He's valuing not playing those 2 unnecessary games in January. So yeah, big win. Not big win. Big call for Mikel Arteta to go out with the full-fledged starting lineup. As far as the statistics of the game, 8 shots for Atalanta to 6 for Arsenal, 2 shots on target for Atalanta to 2 shots on target for Arsenal, 54% possession for Atalanta to 46% possession for Arsenal, and I have to say it was a 0-0 snooze fest. And David Raya's save was the biggest talking point out because it was the only talking point. It was a pretty hard game to watch, I have to say. But Arsenal, they fought hard going away to Bergamo. They it was an earned point. If anyone was gonna get the win, I do have to say I thought Atalanta had a little bit more opportunities. They had that penalty and they looked a little more lively of the two, a little bit more threatening. The big moment came though, as I was saying, in the 51st minute. Um, David Raya, there was a first of all, there was a penalty situation. Um, Thomas Partey, he was tangling with Ederson on the edge of the area, and the referee ended up pointing to a spot. They did review it on VAR as well, but VAR didn't intervene. Mario Retegui, if you watch the European Championship, he was part of that Italy team. Uh, you know, he was the one that took the penalty kick. He did that sort of those sort of stutter runs that bother me a lot. He went low to Raya's right. Raya made a really good save on the penalty, but the big moment was when Mario Retegui followed up the save, trying to redirect it with his head back into the goal. David Raya is able to spring off, show his reflexes and quickness to make a remarkable save to prevent that second goal from going in. Really the moment of the game, probably the moment of the day when it comes to there was a late goal in that Atletico Madrid game that we'll discuss later on. But big moment there. Arsenal, they didn't create enough. Yeah, they didn't create anything, to be honest. I think the only opportunity I can remember was, they had the free kick by Saka that Atalanta's goalkeeper was able to save. Um, Apart from that, I don't remember any clear cut out opportunities that Arsenal had. And this expected. Keep in mind, this is an Arsenal team without Martin Odegaard, who Mikel Arteta came out saying yesterday he's going to be out for a lengthy time. A lot of, the majority of the creativity with this Arsenal team came from Martin Odegaard. You don't have creative wingers in Bukayo Saka and Martinelli. They're not creative players. You can bring Kai Havertz and play him in an advanced midfield position like they did today, and he'll give you some hard work, and he'll be able to get on the ball and drive forward and play off, Gabriel Jesus or Trossard or whatever. But he's not really the type of ball that will make those cute and clever plays to play in a ball to someone, a line breaking ball that can open it up. That's not really his game. Him and Martin Odegaard are completely different profiles, and Kai Havertz wouldn't give you what Odegaard gives you in terms of creativity playing in that role. So we knew it was going to be a difficult for Arsenal to create a lot of opportunities, especially going away in Italy. You know, Arsenal were definitely not at their best, and they haven't really been particularly in terms of general play. They haven't played good football this season. I have to say this is against Tottenham. Yes, they won the game, but in terms of possession and general play and going for it, they were second best. Tottenham were the ones that were going for it, which is expected. Um, when you go to when you move on to the Aston Villa games, similar things. They took advantage of individual moments, just like Tottenham against Brighton. Similar things, but you can excuse that going down to 10 men. We saw what happened with Barcelona when they went down to 10 men. But overall, it's a good point away for Arsenal. I think Atalanta will be happy that they were able to keep this Arsenal team at bay as well. As these two teams go forward in the Champions League, and obviously Arsenal have that big game against Manchester City coming up this Sunday. And in terms of Champions League play, Arsenal move on to take on PSG at the Emirates in the next Champions League window. They also have Shakhtar Donetsk to take on. They'll be going back to Italy as well, to the San Siro this time to take on the reigning Serie A champions Inter Milan, who's coming off that hard-fought earned point at the Etihad against City. You got Sporting Lisbon as well that Arsenal will have to face. Monaco, Dinamo Zagreb, and then they close out their Champions League campaign against Girona.